Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Chipod Ironicast. This is the February 2016 episode. How's everybody doing today?
I am doing great. The weather is pretty nice right now. It's so close to feeling like spring. Like it's like 65 degrees right now.
It is pleasant, yes. All I did outside today is go grocery shopping. But yesterday, we went to the zoo and said goodbye to Clark and Addison, the 8-month-old red pandas that are going to be relocated.
Yeah.
Because I guess 8 months is adult in red panda years.
Wow. I love red pandas, and I'm sad I never have been able to see them personally yet.
Oh, well, their parents are still sticking around, so if you ever come to the city, you just go to our free zoo, and they're adorable and active.
It's a free zoo.
Yeah, I mean, if you could if you could fit it in your pocket, you can just take the whole zoo home. It's the logistics that makes that one tricky. But for today, we've got some topics lined up for you. We're going to be talking about playing games wrong. We're going to be talking about the X-Files, and a look back into the Let's Plays of yesteryear, and finishing up with a pair of questions that were sent to our email address. What email is it again, if people want to send questions?
Send questions to chipcheesem@chipandironicast.com.
So, like I say, not one, but two this month. I guess it's because we went 2 months without doing a email box, because last month was the lightning round.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's get to our first segment. Here's a question for you.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people, speaking of things that can make streaming frustrating, a lot of people accuse other people of playing games wrong. Do you think that's a thing? And if so, how would you define it?
This is hard because there absolutely been multiple times, especially in older videos, where I've yelled, "Hey, that person's fucking up, they're doing it wrong." And I guess technically they were doing it wrong, as in they were failing the objective or something. It's weird because I feel like my answer is different now because I work at a place that has made video games. And so I hear testers all the time talking about how there is no such thing as playing a game wrong. Or not testers, I can't remember their job title right now. Holy crap. Not quality assurance people, but the usability people. The people who work with the actual people they bring in to test out games and stuff. And yeah, they have said, I've heard multiple times, there's no way to play a game wrong. I think this is more of the customer is always right, or the game should not talk down to the player type view, where it's like, however you play our game, that's fine, as long as you're having fun. I'm trying to think if there are any examples where I can plainly say, like, that game was played completely wrong.
Here's a working definition. Let me see what you think about this.
Okay.
A game is being played wrong if someone is seeking an experience the game is not built to provide.
Yeah.
So say whatever Dark Souls build you want, no matter how many people yell at you online, you're not really doing it wrong. You might be making things harder on yourself, but is that wrong?
Yeah.
I think we can say no. A sort of choose-your-own-adventure-y type game that no matter what choice you make, the plot still continues. It might not be the best ending, and how you define best ending is a discussion unto itself, but I don't think you're playing it wrong.
Right.
However, by this definition, I think I'm telling speedrunners they're doing it wrong. I think I'm telling the half A-press guy he's doing it wrong. And when I think of that example, I don't like my definition anymore.
Yeah, it's the only way I can say 100% like, okay, somebody's playing a game and it is being played wrong, is if it's somebody who has never seen or touched a video game before, and they're picking up the console itself and like throwing it through a window. Sorry, that's playing the video game wrong.
So wait, you're saying that Vicus's Let's Play Super Mario 64 with my feet is playing video games wrong?
Oh my god. Even this is being shattered now by this argument.
Would you impugn Vicus like this? That one still holds up, I tell you what.
Yeah, that holds up. I mean, despite using feet, it's that game's being played, things being completed. It looked essentially like normal Mario play, but there were feet in the corner.
See, the thing is, I'm torn because I'm sure this is a thing that exists. I want to be even more. For once, I want to be less loosey-goosey than you. I just don't know how to name it. You know, I don't know where that line would be drawn.
Yeah, there are times where I'll still like look at something and go like, "Oh, that person's doing it all wrong." But that's just personally me going like, "They're not playing the way I like to play it, so it's not really valid."
Right.
God, I'm trying to think of any example, any game specifically where it's like, if you don't play this game like this, it's just like flat out incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's got to be some game out there where it's like so specific. Ugh.
I guess
I can't think of one.
No, I think doing 3 laps backwards in Mario Kart is still valid. The game just won't like you very much for doing it.
Yeah. You're still playing. That's not playing wrong. That's playing
hard
poorly.
Mode, and it's so hard you can never win.
Yeah, that isn't incorrect playing. That's poor playing, I suppose.
Yeah.
Being bad doesn't mean playing wrong, unless playing wrong, you define that as not winning. I did it incorrectly. I didn't win. I didn't complete the thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. While we're looking for edge cases to sort of falsify these definitions, but I would say that just being obstinately bad at a game and blaming it for your shortcomings, I'm going to say that's doing it wrong. Yeah.
Okay, so DSP is...
I wasn't going to cast aspersions. I wasn't going to name names.
Yeah. It's the first time I thought about him in a while. But yeah, okay, I guess
what I will say is I don't think that playing a game wrong by any definition should ever be like, you should call somebody out on it as like a character failing of theirs.
Yeah.
That's when people get a bit out of hand.
Mm-hmm. I have done that before. Many times. There may even be videos documenting this.
Yeah. And you can only make those jokes so many times in any case.
Yeah.
Even if you believe them, it gets old.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try to drive to a conclusion. Let's try to like sum something up and have a moral for the folks at home.
Never feel bad playing video. I don't know. I don't think there's any real way to play a game wrong. You can play it poorly. You can play it in a way that isn't the goal of the game, but like you're still interacting with it and shit. So I still think that counts as playing it. Here's
an idea. If you're not having fun, are you doing it wrong?
I mean, if you're not having fun, that could also be the game's fault.
It could be.
Maybe the game's just not fun.
It could
Maybe
be.
you just don't like that specific thing.
If you're not having fun and a change in your play behavior could make you have fun again, are you? Is that what playing a game wrong is? If it's anything, is it that?
Maybe. Because, I mean, it's also like, there are games like some of the Platinum stuff where it doesn't explain itself well, and like people won't like the Wonderful 101 because it's such a steep learning curve that doesn't explain itself. But people have like seen our videos going like, now that I'm playing it like this, it's way more fun. But like, I don't think they would be playing it wrong because like they just didn't know.
I would say I'm sticking to my guns on this one, and I'm going to say they are, but it's not their fault. I mean, there's clearly someone else who's holding the blame on that one.
Yeah.
Just call it block and dodge. Just put it in the store and call it block. Call it dodge.
Block and dodge. Just give it to them right away. Make it part of the tutorial. Shit. That would have solved so many things right away if there was just like...
You didn't have to buy it in the demo. You had it in the demo. Come on.
You had it in the demo. I don't think it told you the button to do that unless you like looked it up though. But it didn't tell you anything in the demo, really. It just dropped you there and it's like, well, try and figure this out.
So I guess we can't really drive to a conclusion on this one, which only goes to show that I hope people continue to think about this and, talk about this amongst yourselves. And if you come up with something, run it by us, because I think this is an interesting discussion. Maybe we'll revisit it. Maybe this will be part 1 if something blossoms out of this.
Yeah, I can say, though, that it for people who work in games and are very heavily involved with play testing and making sure people understand how to play a game and stuff, all I've seen from all of them so far is that they believe there's no wrong way for somebody to play a game.
I mean, there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's, but those are only $1.
Yeah.
So,
it's for them. It's all about this lovely golden word, conveyance. Conveyance. Making sure the player understands. The game conveys to them the information they need to know.
Mm-hmm. Well, run some of these things by them, and maybe we can get some of your user experience people to lend their expert opinions on this question that seems to be tearing stream audiences across the world apart.
I will ask them. They will probably have a lot of smart things to say. Some of them have even written books.
Hey, that's cool. But I guess that messy sort of ending, no bows getting tied on things this month, does bring us to our middle segment. So, hey.
What's up?
Oh,
shit.
Yeah?
I love the X-Files.
How much do you love the X-Files?
I really, really... okay, so I never watched X-Files as a kid that much because the theme song scared me.
We were literal babies when that show came out.
I was a baby when it came... I was only a few years old, but I remember seeing it on... Because, it went on till, 2001. Because it was, 9 seasons. I never watched it much as a kid because the theme song scared me. I started watching it a few years ago, and I fell in love with that show. I never finished it, though, because The X-Files is a show that is very consistent in its quality for a very long time, with only a couple bad episodes every once in a while, up until about halfway through season 7, where it's not like a gradual decline. There's just this 2-parter that happens, and it just goes straight to the fucking ground.
So, yeah, it's like the drop-off in, the ocean floor.
Yeah, it's... Because of that, despite loving that series, I've never watched past halfway through season 7, which sucks because I'm missing out on at least 2 more good episodes. Hollywood AD and then X Cops, which is the X-Files crossed over with Cops, the show.
Nice.
They use Cops as the framing device. The camera crew follows Mulder and Scully around. It's apparently really good. So
now when you say you haven't watched farther, that does mean you also haven't watched this year's season 10,
correct?
Quote unquote, the 6-episode miniseries.
Yeah, I have not watched the new miniseries, but I've read about it. I've heard people's impressions about it, and what I've heard so far is, I thought, yeah, it sounds about right for a revival of the X-Files. It sounds like basically...
It sounds like there's a little bit of everything.
It sounds like there's a little bit of everything, and also it sounds
which is both good and bad.
It sounds like pretty much all of the problems that the X-Files had that would crop up were still there. Mm-hmm. But because it was a mini-series, a little more condensed and a little more apparent.
Yeah, I can go with that. So let me come at you from the other end.
Okay.
I think I've watched 7 episodes of the Sex Files, the porn parody. No, yeah. I've watched 7 episodes of the X-Files in my life. 6 of them are this year's miniseries. Okay. The other was the premiere. Sidebar, there is a girl in my dorm room in college who really wanted to get with me, and she was all about the X-Files and Star Trek and bringing me an apple pie every week.
Yeah, I was about to ask, wasn't she the one that brought you pie all the time? That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So, later, after she moved away to a different thing, I somehow wound up in a chain email where she was trying to explain how the New Deal actually caused the Great Depression.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about all this. Oh, this was like...
But that's for another day.
God, that's 6 years ago.
But, of course, apparently I have a weird This is probably just coincidence. I would hate to think I have a type of people who are into me, but my wife is an X-Files super fan.
All right.
Although maybe not to that degree. So let's talk about this show and what it is in opposite directions while trying not to spoil each other or our audience. This is a challenge. This is a challenge we've set for ourselves.
All right. So the creator of the X-Files is Chris Carter.
Yes. He seems to be a man made of every kind of uncle you could meet at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Chris Carter.
If his writing tics from the miniseries are the same as he had back in the 90s proper, he is a multitude of uncles.
Yeah, so there are multiple writers for the X-Files that were around for almost the entire show. Chris Carter was there. There was Vince Gilligan was a very frequent writer. He went on to write Breaking Bad. And actually, I can't remember his name, the actor who plays the protagonist in Breaking Bad, he was chosen for that role because he was cast and acted really well for a single episode of the X-Files.
I thought they just liked him so much for his voice work in the Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
Bryan Cranston has a long and storied career.
Yeah. Okay, so Chris Carter, anytime he writes an episode, he wrote a fair amount of pretty good episodes, but there was a point later on in the series where it felt like his writing got stuck in these couple recurring things he really likes to do. Now, in the miniseries,
does this sound like I'm watching the first episode of season 10 this year, back in February, and so everything about halfway through, I turn to my wife and I ask, "So is the X-Files all about people not answering questions and just monologuing about abstract things past one another?" And she paused for a moment and said, "Yeah, kind of."
Yeah, okay, so I was about to say, one of the big things Chris Carter really likes to do...
No one answers a single fucking question in the whole first episode.
Something Chris Carter really started to like to do later on in the series, maybe halfway through, was, people won't answer questions. And
they just talk about the nature of faith and humanity.
There will be one of the characters will have a very long, very purple prose monologue about something a little abstract, and it'll go on for a very long time. There are multiple episodes of the X-Files where this happens, and anytime it happens, you go, "Oh, this was written by Chris Carter." So that's probably the biggest thing with Chris Carter. On top of, I'm sure this happened in the miniseries, but Chris Carter also has this problem of, I think he has too many ideas, but he wants to use all of them.
You would
he'll
not
cram his
believe how many conspiracies are like real life. You can find Alex Jones ranting about this one for months. Conspiracies get name checked.
Yeah.
Literally all of them.
Yeah. Chris Carter has lots and lots of ideas, but the issue is he doesn't know which ones to pick, so he uses all of them and crams them into too small a runtime for an episode. So if you have 40 to 50 minute long episodes, you're going to get about 3 or 4 episodes worth of plot thrown at you somehow. And it can make things really confusing. Was anything this miniseries confusing?
I would say I wouldn't call it confusing in that they were doing too many things too fast. I think the finale, such as it was, suffers from having too many plots running.
Right.
But the other 5 seem pretty self-contained in that there's a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Right. Maybe not so much confusing, but did any of them feel rushed?
The ending was rushed. Yes.
The ending was rushed.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of the X-Files is a great show. And most of the episodes in the X-Files are Monster of the Week episodes, self-contained things that's just about one specific paranormal thing or monster. Sometimes they revisit them, but very rarely. And those are mainly just about seeing the cool monster enjoying the character interactions with Mulder and Scully because they work pretty well together. I don't know how they worked well together in the miniseries.
Oh, some things never die.
Okay. Because I saw some people saying that they both felt like they were just kind of phoning it in, which has happened in the X-Files in the past.
I took that less as a lack of effort and more of like they're old now. Well, they're not like elderly. They're not coming up against retirement, but they've had.
Right. They're a lot older than they were.
Years to like slow down and calm down, and there's sort of a midlife crisis affect to it all.
Okay, because I know
that's how I'd characterize it.
Okay, because I like later on in like when I said that I stopped watching halfway through season 7, that is because one, the actual main plot threads got really bad, but also because David Duchovny started phoning it in for a while, and not just like, oh, maybe he just wasn't feeling it this time or something. Like, it was real fucking bad.
Yeah.
But this is also because around the same time there was some like big dispute between his pay and Fox, and there was a lawsuit.
Oh, goodness.
At the same time they were filming, so I think he was just phoning it in to spite them, maybe? Because it's not just like, oh, that wasn't great, he could have done better, but whatever. This is some fucking terrible shit.
I mean, stuff like that is how you wind up with Theodore Rex, okay? Just take care of your actors. Please. I love the story of Whoopi Goldberg being sued to be in Theodore Rex.
Yeah.
Guess what? Yeah. She didn't give a fuck, and the movie sucked because of it. Don't sue your actors to make them
is really
come.
Bad. Theodore Rex is also really bad for reasons other than that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a exacerbating factor, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's yeah, so I've never really been into the X-Files because of the overarching plot, which throughout the show for a while you would essentially have a beginning, maybe two-parter to the season that was an overarching plot thing, another two-part in the middle, then one or two more episodes at the end of the season that were all about that, and then maybe they'll sprinkle a little bit in everything else, but everything else is basically Monster of the Week stuff. But the further you got into the series, the more they started doing the actual main UFO conspiracy plot stuff, and that show was planned to end after season 5, and then they were going to turn it into a movie franchise. But that didn't happen. They made the movie after season 5 and then kept making more seasons. And because of that, all the stuff they had written and then not planned an ending for ended up getting real convoluted and confusing. And I'm pretty sure the miniseries begins by retconning all of it to make it more ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it does it in kind of an elegant way. I mean...
Really?
Well, if you've got a mess, there's only so many... You can't really wrap up a mess neatly. Right. But you can take a good mop to it. I mean, I commend the effort. As far as possible ideas go, it was a good one.
Okay. Because I will say, like, if there's one plot element that came in very early in the X-Files and is still present, and what it is and how it got to wherever it is and what its goal is has changed so many times because they never had an idea what they were doing with it, it's the black oil.
Yeah.
The alien black oil.
Black oil does not show up at all. At least not that I recall.
Really? I thought I heard somebody saying black oil showed up.
Maybe I'm not as eagle-eyed as some folks.
Okay. But the black oil is a thing. It's like, what is it? Well, it's this. Actually, it's this. It was a conspiracy of people saying it was this, and it's actually this.
Oh, wait. I saw half of the first movie, so I know there's bees involved.
Yes, there's bees.
The second half of the first movie, which is probably the worst half to see.
Yeah.
If you can only see one half, don't see the second half. It'll make no sense.
Yeah. There are 2 X-Files movies.
I think that goes for any... Oh, yeah, I saw the whole second movie. That was one of our dates.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen the second X-Files movie. That one takes place after the whole show ended and came out in 2008.
It has Billy Connolly in it as a pedophile priest, so there you go.
I didn't know that.
He's psychic. Or is he? There you go.
The first X-Files movie is all right. I'd say the first half is better than the second, but it's all right. But yeah, I've heard a little bit about the ending of this miniseries, and it just sounds like it's the issue the X-Files has had in the past where a lot of the mystery and conspiracy and stuff hints towards this big thing, and it's like, ooh, exciting. But once the big thing starts happening, it's like, how can this show possibly make this big thing work?
Yeah,
because the X-Files works really well when it's small scale, and the big scale stuff is always something mysterious that you don't see.
Yeah, and there's a thing of how does the world even continue, much less the story of the show from this point.
Yeah, because the X-Files has always been like all the best parts of it, at least, like all this, creepy, paranormal, or conspiracy stuff happening underneath what seems like normal life, where most people don't know about it.
Right.
But once it's no longer a conspiracy and like the goal is just happening or something, I have a hard time imagining how X-Files would work without just being an action movie.
See, and all of this, this is what I have Fringe for, and I love that show so much. And I think it navigates that escalation pretty nimbly, especially because when things get really big, because it's not going into uncharted waters. It's like the people who make Fringe were big X-Files fans that took extensive notes.
Right? Yeah,
such a good show.
Yeah, I really need to actually watch Fringe someday.
So good.
For people who want to watch the X-Files, it's all on Netflix. It's a great show to watch. It's not the HD remaster, which is not released anywhere, but is aired on TV right now for some reason.
It's not released anywhere? I mean, there's a Blu-ray set out.
Oh, is there? Oh, no, that's right. They put the Blu-ray out in anticipation for the miniseries. I forgot.
Oh, well,
that's what they did.
That explains it.
But it's weird because the HD remasters of that show have been out for years, but they've only been like aired on French TV stations.
Well, the French, they love their pixels.
But I would even argue that the X-Files is a good thing to watch in standard definition because the fuzzy VHS feel of it kind of enhances a lot of those episodes.
That makes sense. I dig that. Yeah.
There's something about the X-Files that having it. The X-Files feels very rooted in the 90s and all of its shit. Mm-hmm. The technology, the time, and the clothes. Okay, so the clothing that everybody wore for about the first 2.5 seasons of the X-Files is amazing because David Duchovny is just swimming in suits. He is never in a suit that fucking fits him for about a solid 30-40 episodes.
The weird thing is the early seasons of like The West Wing have the same thing with Josh.
Yeah.
Although that was like 5 years later. Like the world moved on. Why didn't NBC?
Yeah, once the X-Files got to around like 95 or something, that's when their wardrobe people went like, oh, we should put them in suits and stuff that fit them better. Because David Duchovny looks like a baby for a while. Yeah, I don't know. It's even with all the frustrating stuff and dumb stuff that happens in the X-Files, I still think it's a series that's still worth watching just because a lot of them really hold up. And even the bad ones are generally still entertaining to watch. There's only a couple that are like so frustratingly bad, I would say avoid them. Such as Space, a bottle episode that takes place in a control room at NASA that looks like it's made out of fucking cardboard. And it's just about a former astronaut who is possessed by the face of Mars or something. It's never made clear, and it makes him jump out a window.
So you mean that picture with the shadows that's actually just a bunch of rocks? That face of Mars?
That face of Mars is apparently some kind of paranormal space ghost, and it possessed him while he was in space years ago, and now it makes him go crazy and purposefully sabotage space shuttles so that we don't land on Mars or something. It's really bad. It's really bad.
I will say that I will eventually have first-hand knowledge of all this. Now that my wife is left to go to work, I can let everybody in on a secret, as long as everybody listening to this, like, cross your heart promises not to reveal the secret.
Okay.
I know about the Blu-ray set because it's her birthday present.
Oh my God.
So,
well, this podcast is probably going up tomorrow, but I'll
Well, it's okay. She doesn't listen to it.
Yeah.
But that means everybody who listens to this live or on iTunes, YouTube, your podcatcher of choice, you're in the fucking circle of trust right now, motherfuckers.
Man, don't spoil this B-Day present.
But yeah, if you want a show that isn't quite as 90s, has an actual ending, and picks up, tries to avoid the pitfalls of its predecessors, Fringe is a really good 100-episode show. It hits its heights.
5 seasons?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And the 5th season is a short one just to get to 100 flat. Seasons 2 and 3 are the height, but as soon as it gets the structure, I love the structure of Fringe. Every 3 to 4 episodes develops a single thing, and usually it's a character development or a change in a character relationship, although sometimes it is the show's own like mythology of plot events. And there's usually an overlap, so you're basically going from bite-sized bit to bit, and the structure works so strong, and it builds so well toward an ending of a season. And like I say, the show actually goes out on a real-ass ending, and the whole 5th season is just high fives to all the fans who made it this far. It's full of the most crowd-pleasing kinds of callbacks. Fringe is a good show.
Yeah, it sounds pretty great. Also, one other thing, speaking of the X-Files, for a while now, but I've been delaying it because there's already too many projects our whole thing is doing right now. But that is getting wrapped up soon. Drunk Metal Gear is pretty far into editing. The fight pretty far into editing. Also,
Fight is our magnum opus. I swear to you all. I've been saying this for 6 months, and it's true.
I've been editing it a little bit now, and it's fucking perfect. But at some point, I'm planning to do Let's Plays of both X-Files video games. Because they are amazing. One is an FMV point-and-click game that I think is the better of the two X-Files games. And the other one is the Resident Evil clone.
I can't imagine why that would be worse.
It's not... It doesn't play great, but it's got a lot of cute fan service stuff in it. I think the point-and-click game is better. It was they had extra cameras and equipment lying around while they were filming the first movie, so they went, why don't we make a video game? So a lot of the actors are there, at least for a little bit. It's all FMV. It's great. I do
actually, watching his small bits over the last 6 episodes, I remember you had a thing for Skinner, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. That's a fun guy to watch when he pops up for 2 minutes in an episode.
Yeah, I heard that he's barely in. I hear that he's barely in the miniseries, which is a bit of a bummer because I like his actor, Mitch Pileggi.
Yeah. Mitch Pileggi is one of the great. Oh, it's that guy, guys.
Yeah, well, I bet if one thing you didn't know is that he's one of those deep voice narration dudes for a lot of shit. Especially in the 90s and early 2000s. If you ever watched that Fox show that was about that masked magician revealing how tricks are done, Mitch Pileggi's the narrator of that. That's him.
That's a show. Why didn't that get a video game?
God, I don't know. Yeah, Skinner's a pretty cool character who was originally just like a background guy for season 1, and then you're like, we should just make him a normal character. We like this actor. But then a lot of the Skinner-centric episodes are strange, such as the episode where
I can't imagine moving your focus to their boss would be anything strange.
The very first one that focuses on him is really weird because bad shit is happening to him, and people are being killed around him, and it seems like he's being framed for it or something, but it actually turns out that it's actually just his guardian grandma ghost spirit that follows him that became attached to him during the Vietnam War. Nice. It's a protective grandma ghost.
So
they just acknowledge that the grandma ghost is there, and then she never comes back, even though technically she's always there.
Another thing that I think can't go unmentioned in any broad discussion of the X-Files is that, like, every genre show that becomes a hit, a lot of people were making X-Files imitators around the mid-90s.
Yes.
Did I mention Miracles when we did that failed 90s show segment?
Oh, I think you did, yeah.
Okay, so go back and listen to that episode, because Miracles is a hoot.
Yeah, both the X-Files and Twin Peaks, which were around the same time, and both had David Duchovny in them.
Mm-hmm. And both are technically in fringe continuity. They reference both.
Yeah. Both of those shows were like some of the most influential shows of that decade. Like the structure, the Monster of the Week structure and all that shit the X-Files did was like kind of pioneered by them, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no Buffy without the X-Files.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff because of the X-Files.
And want to do 6 Degrees of Separation, there's no current Doctor Who series without Buffy. Yeah. I mean, that is explicitly said by the people who are behind the 2005 relaunch. Yeah, it's a great show. Check out the X-Files. The first season's really rough, but so is the first season of any show. Most shows, for sure. There are a couple decent episodes. There's one episode that is basically just a copy of The Thing, but The Thing is cool, so it works. Watch the episode Home. That one's real fucked up, and they don't air it on TV because of it. So yeah, check out the X-Files. Check out maybe a best of list of the X-Files. And hey, if you're a lady around our age who's really into the X-Files, you might have a crush on me. It seems to work that way. Don't watch the episode that on paper, I can't remember the name of it, on paper sounds amazing in that it's structured to like mimic Spanish soap operas. Sure. It's this weird thing where it's like... I can't imagine that going wrong. It goes really wrong and it's really bad and it has this weird heavy-handed message about immigrants and it's terrible. Oh, you want heavy-handed messages? Just wait till you get to the miniseries episode about a suicide bomber. Oh no. Oh yeah. Okay. Now that's the one with every kind of uncle from Thanksgiving, let me tell you. So there's one other type of X-Files episode I failed to mention, and those are the comedy episodes. Mm-hmm. They had a writer named Darren Morgan who wrote about 4 episodes for the X-Files, but all of them are pretty funny. And some of the best episodes, especially Clive Bruckman's Final Repose. Mm-hmm. He Jose wrote Chung's from Outer Space? Yes. That's famous enough I know an X-Files episode by name without ever seeing it. Yeah, he also wrote the 3rd episode of the miniseries, which I heard was pretty funny. It is. It's got one unfortunate 90s-ism, but otherwise is really top-notch. Yeah, I'm happy he wrote one more episode, because it was like, when I heard about that miniseries, I was like, I don't know if this will work out. But then they said Darren Morgan's writing one episode. I was like, oh, it's all worth it then. Just for one more Darren Morgan episode, please. But that's the X-Files. That's that. I love it. That's us wrapping up the middle segment 5 separate ways. There you go. Which brings us to segment number 3. Let's talk about Let's Play stuff. I love Let's Plays. Yeah. While we're in a reminiscing mood, you want to talk about kind of old Let's Plays? All right, yeah, sure. Talk to me about some kind of old Let's Plays. Now, this has been facilitated because YouTube is doing search by year and making that easier to look at. Is that correct? So one thing I've been looking for a long time is people have gone like, why aren't there any more Let's Plays? And it's like, well, like the type... We've talked about this before. There's a lot of kind of reasons. There's a lot of reasons, but also it's just like the type that are out now are just, it's hard to joke on them. That's one of the big ones right there, yeah. Yeah, and it's like, okay, before the technique for finding stuff to make fun of was Let's Play, search by, upload date, most recent. And you'd have something gold on the first page. That don't work anymore, and now you can't go Let's Play, search by 2009. Oh. You can't actually search by date or anything on YouTube. Google can, though. Hey. If you just type in Let's Play and then site:/youtube.com and then just set your search date to whatever you want. That's amazing. And change it to sorted by date rather than relevance. Kablam. I can look at Let's Plays from 2008 now. Although, even though I'm telling it sort by date, it still feels like it's
giving preference to videos with more views than none. But one of the first things I clicked on was... Here, I'll post it in the chat.
Sure.
It's exactly as I remembered it.
Hello, Midnight. Welcome to new Let's Play doing. Let's play Grow.
I do love the top comment from the uploader. Yeah, I'm well aware my microphone's really terrible. It's much better now. No, I can't change how the audio is in this video. Any further comments about this topic will be removed. Meanwhile, I'm getting blown all the way to New Jersey from my headphones.
So, really loud, blown out mics. My favorite. I love it.
I do love that cowboy time of Let's Plays where you had to wonder if people even watched them before uploading.
Yeah, I mean, there's that...
There's no way! There's no way!
Yeah. I mean, for a lot of people, it's like, well, this is as good as it can be. Fart, here it is. It was like that one we made fun of like years ago. That was like somebody playing Arkham Asylum or something, and it just became a green screen for minutes at a time.
Detective Vision Plus. Could be anything in here.
And it's...
Oh my gosh, we've come so far.
Yeah, and it's really weird to look at some of these accounts because a fair amount of them are still uploading Let's Plays to this day. And then every once in a while you get one that's like, oh, H.C. Bailey. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody knows him. But, I don't know, it's actually, despite me like looking for a while in 2008, I haven't managed to find too many unregistered Hypercam 2s yet. I found one or two.
The person who you linked is actually streaming right now.
Holy shit. Whoa.
And now they sound like an actual adult because they probably were a child.
Yeah.
And I can hear a voice normally with proper levels.
Yeah, he's streaming at 60 frames a second.
It's the march of progress,
Yeah. It's the same with any new thing where it's always going to be the strangest and the most fun when it first starts, and then it gets standardized, and then it's a lot more boring. But
I mean, you if you apply that to other mediums, like the shot of like one of the first movies is somebody filming people leaving a factory in France. It was still in focus,
That's true. Even at the beginning, most things were still competent.
Come on. That wasn't even meant to be for public viewing. It was to test the new invention of the film camera.
Yeah, it was still usable, unlike most Let's Plays. One of the other things is that once you start searching like early 2008, that's when you start getting lots of music videos, because that's around the time people first started doing Let's Plays. So a lot of different things came up in the search terms instead.
Oh, yeah. I mean... Do you think you're missing some things that, because maybe the term Let's Play wasn't standard? But I guess I remember it being pretty standard.
It was pretty standard, even like all the way back in like 2008 when we first started doing the Let's Play stuff. Mm-hmm. It was...
I mean, I guess that's just another... It's a bit of evidence for the story of the origin of the video Let's Play, coming from cooperative forum threads by screenshot, where let's actually meant something, dang it, you whippersnappers.
And I still want to see if I can somehow refine the search term even more to get like true upload date, because it looks like it is, but I feel like I'm not seeing nearly enough camcorder Let's Plays. In fact, I've found 0 so far. No,
but that was the hot tech in 2008.
Yeah. I'm finding a lot of stuff on emulators mostly, which is not surprising.
But without unregistered hypercam, do you think maybe there's been like a Retspray shame effect? Do you think people took them down is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm betting a lot of them are either taken down or from accounts. Well, here's the other thing. YouTube accounts that aren't used for a certain amount of time get culled. after a while.
Okay.
So, in the amount of time since then, there could have just been a mass deletion from accounts that were no longer used. Because, like, look, a lot of the people coming up is like Quadraxis 14 and Lord Vega. I remember those names because they still upload shit too.
Right.
But like a lot of these accounts, if they aren't logged into for a while, they probably
We're
just
just giving
vanish.
shout outs to everybody today.
Yeah. Deceased Crab, there we go. November 12th, 2008. Nintendo Capri Sun, November 12th, 2008.
Oh, never go away, Nintendo Capri Sun.
Yeah.
Oh, or Nintendo or Capri Sun, just separately. I want those to continue as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to guess that if a lot of the camcorder stuff is missing and a lot of the real shit is gone, it must just be from account deletion or
Yeah,
something like that.
that makes sense. It does. It's okay, if game preservation is a valuable
Let's Play
field, is Let's
preservation.
Play preservation? Are
Oh my God.
the old Let's Play videos, are those time capsules into the way it once was?
You know, I suppose they are.
This is the closest thing we have to an archive.
Yeah, you know, I think somewhere on one of my many, many hard drives, I still might have videos. Because after a while, I started doing this practice for Retsu Price. It's like, oh, I'm going to download this video right now just in case they delete it.
Which has happened.
And-
Like, we used to, like, do sessions where we'd
Yeah.
look for stuff and you'd bookmark it. And then when we have time, you'd check your bookmarks and whoops, it's gone.
Yeah.
That
and would
happened to us a
suck.
few times, yeah.
So I adopted this policy of just downloading all videos the second we decided like it was good, we wanted to keep it. So somewhere in one of my hard drives, I still might have a couple of those lying around. In fact, I think I have ones from like 4 years ago I did with Slow Beef I never put up.
Yeah, and you think the fight's taking a while, folks.
Yeah, it's here. Let's see. This is an old drive, so it takes a little bit of spin up. Oh yeah. Here's some ones I have saved, such as I did this one with Slow Beef and Diabetes. This user presents the top 10 hottest female Sonic characters. However, I did not put this one up because
Are
I
there
have
even 10?
absolutely. If you put Sonic X into the equation,
Oh, okay, all
and the
right,
comics,
yeah.
I never put that one up because I have a sneaking suspicion it's fake. Because it's too perfect. It's too amazing.
Oh, because Cream is number 1. That's how you know it's fake.
Yeah, that's no one would pick Cream. There's also Let's Play Scarlet Blade Punisher, which is that MMO where everyone's always nonstop a super hot babe with no clothing, but sometimes in a mech suit.
Well, yeah.
It was 30 minutes long, and this dude had like, you know, he had a face cam on it, but it was like masked to look like a paint splotch, like with his face coming through the paint splotch, and that felt very weird combined with all these hot ladies. And also Minecraft girlfriend mod. Oh, excuse me, and also Mr. Mears game review, My Girlfriend is the President.
What game is that about? Is that the name of the game?
My Girlfriend is the President is a visual novel where you date the president of multiple different countries.
Oh, okay. So those are the paths. You date your way through the whole UN.
Yeah. And I remember in this review, it began with this dude in his room, like with anime posters and stuff, prefacing, hey man, I don't give a fuck if you think it's wrong to look at all these hentai visual novels. But he was doing this in character as his New Vegas character insert, who was really cool, wearing a hat and had a black mustache. He's like pointing the shotgun at the screen, going like, hey, fuck you. And it was something.
So yeah, though that just doesn't happen these days.
No, it doesn't, and I hate it.
It's all face cam scream-em-outs and these other best friends, you know?
Yeah, there was one Let's Play I saw linked just a few days ago that was some, you know, PewDiePie type guy who you know, is in like the bottom left corner, full body green screen, and he was playing Valiant Hearts, that game, that indie game that's like about World War II or something like that, and the horrors of war. And one, he's screaming nonstop over it, which was really weird because he was presenting it as this emotional indie game.
Let me just say that World War II is a lot scarier than someone with a giant pair of scissors chasing you around a mansion.
Yeah. But this one, I'll have to see if I can find this video again in my history, but it had like some of the biggest like whiplash I've seen in a Let's Play in a while, in that he's screaming nonstop in like this PewDiePie style fashion, but once it gets to the ending that's supposed to be emotional, he immediately stops, it turns on a dime, and starts just bringing in the waterworks. Like, this guy knew how to cry in command.
Oh my god.
And he brought it just so that he could go like, look guys, this ending's supposed to be sad. Well, I guess the reaction everybody expects me to have is to cry now. And he got like these fake alligator tears.
He would have been a real hit in 1950s film. If only he were Margaret O'Brien.
Yeah. I'll have to find that one, because that's the first time I've seen a Let's Play in a while where there is some aspect to it that made me go like, what? Wait a minute.
You know, I know that the Internet Archive does back up Let's Plays from mostly the Let's Play Archive.
Yeah,
Let's
the
Play
LP
Archive. The LP Archive. Which is great, but it does make me wonder, are we losing something from having, you know, the rest of the scene in those days lost to the sands of time?
Yeah.
Are we missing out on the context of it?
Yeah, it's weird.
Because I will say, I mean, we've said it before, our first two weren't great. But then you look at what still exists and what we know is missing from those search by year results.
Yeah. It's really weird, and I kind of miss that era, and I kind of wish I kind of wish it was all still there. I'm actually sad that it's not archived, because I don't know, there's something great about it.
It reminds me of like people, because Fuller House just came out, watching that god-awful show and thinking, oh my god, I used to like this.
Yeah, totally.
Full House is bad. Fuck y'all.
I never liked Full House.
This is the part of the podcast where we play the very special message music, and the very special message is Full House was a bad show.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. God, there was one other thing I was going to say regarding this stuff that, I was just thinking about it too. I wish the Wayback Machine worked with YouTube videos, though.
Yeah. Oh,
that'd
be great. Oh, maybe we could bring back the old YouTube page layouts too.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
that'd be a nostalgia trip.
Like if you go back to even like 2010, it's so fucked up. Like even just like 5 or 6 years ago, it was so messed up. I don't know. I miss that stuff. Let's Plays.
So that's our third segment, I think.
Yeah. There's still something like on tip of my tongue I can't remember. I'll come back to it if I remember.
Okay. There's always other months. There's always other stuff. Okay. So that does bring us to our Ask segment. If you would like to put a question in our box, have us answer at the end of every podcast, what's the email address for that?
chipcheesem@chipandironicast.com.
Okay. We got a question for this episode. Dearest sirs, my question is this, although more directed to Ironicus because this seems a little more in his range. Why, thank you. I am currently looking into a correlation of gender identity and role-playing games, particularly tabletop games. Oh, I see. Now that makes sense. Where you're given a wide range to select from, and it's very rarely to be looked down on for choosing something radically different from your personal self. Do you think there's a connection in these kinds of games that can greatly help people who may be wondering if they're trans, prefer different gender pronouns, and other aspects? First off, pretty heavy question. And
yeah, it's pretty heavy. And one I believe I myself am not qualified to answer.
I'm going to join you on that. And with that proviso, I'm going to just sort of share some thoughts. I'm not an expert, but if you're doing this research you say you are, I hope you're reaching out to a lot of other people who have a more developed view on this sort of thing. But I don't want to turn down a person who sends an interesting question in good faith. So there you go. So let's give it a shot. I would say, yeah, maybe. I mean, what I think is a bigger deal rather than defining a character the way you want it is you and your friends around that table. I'm going to assume you're playing with friends. You're determining the world around you and how the entire setting and every person you meet interacts with this person you've made. And I think that might be a stronger window, a more cathartic release than just making your character, because you can play with a gender slider in Saints Row, and that's still a constructed environment. Actually, the point I'm trying to make about the difference between video games and tabletop gaming reminds me of a very recent, at the time of recording, Giant Bomb guest article that was about exactly the sort of gap I'm trying to explain. That no matter how drawn in by a game you are, it's the only so many interactions are programmed. There are doors that are just decorative and you cannot open them. But with the tabletop game, not only is everything on the table, nudge, nudge, for your personal experience, like the question assumes, but the entire experience, every door can be opened. You just might have to make a DC 18 dexterity check. But yeah, I think if you're just trying to get your feet wet and, not only am I going to be an elf, I'm going to be an elf woman, and my friends are going to call me she and her for 4 hours on Saturday.
Right.
Let's just try it out. I think maybe some people have that experience, and I hope you find one of them to talk about it.
Yeah.
But
I would be interested to know more on that research later.
But I would suggest maybe asking those other questions about, okay, but how is it to construct a fictional setting where they have this taboo but not that one? Or they have the religion says this about that. And explore how playing with all of the sliders, not just your internal ones,
right,
affect this sort of thing. Yeah. So, like I mentioned at the top, we have 2 questions. We wanted to keep that one short because we don't really fucking know this shit outside of a very vague sense. We're trying to be good, but we recognize our limits in experience.
I know people who experience this stuff much more than me, but I don't know it. I just buy amiibos. Sorry.
But the other one that came to the top of a pile to end on a high note, it seems we've been invited to join the Illuminati.
Ah, yes. Here we go. Are you a businessman, businesswoman, artist, politicians, student, etc.? And you want to become big and rich, proper nouns.
You know I want to become big and rich. Save a horse, ride that cowboy.
Protections and powerful, famous, promoting your job office position, and make your company product the most popular and bestseller in the world. Join us to become one of our official Illuminati Brotherhood member today, and you shall be given a chance to visit the Illuminati Initiation Center and his representative after registrations are completed by you.
Well, yeah, you got to get your paperwork in. You got to sign a release, an Illuminati release.
Illuminati Brotherhood brings along wealth and famous in life. You have a full success to eradicate poverty away from your life now.
Call us the Poverty Eradicators. 1-800-ROACH-AWAY. We're still using the old phone number, sorry.
It is only a member who has been initiated into the Church of Illuminati that have the authority to bring any member to the church. So the Illuminati initiation for this year new members is available now. Join us today and realize your dreams.
Are you sure this isn't just Scientology?
This sounds a lot like Scientology, to be honest. Once you become a member, you will be rich, true, whatever you are doing on this planet.
But I wanted to be big and rich. Now you're cutting the deal in half.
Whatever you are doing on this planet as your occupation, more ideals will be given to you and protected. And as an actor or actress, politicians, you will be famous and powerful for the rest of your life. The Illuminati makes they members happy, so join and be one of the successful person on Earth. If you are interested...
The Illuminati sends you a card on your birthday.
Oh, they're the only people who ever remember. If you are interested, fill the form below to the below email address to enable the Illuminati registration department process your membership, and an invitation for the initiation will be sent to you wherever you are in any part of the world.
And then there's an email address, and you have to send your full name, nationality, current full address, country, occupation, date of birth, gender, phone number, email address, and tell us a little about yourself.
Warning. If you are not interested or below 18 years old, do not reply back to this email. This message is from the Illuminati Worldwide Occult Government Center.
Because the Illuminati is all about buying and selling tobacco in the United States. You have to be at least 18.
I love that the Illuminati doesn't seem that mysterious anymore, because they got to do paperwork too.
Uh-huh.
And they you got to be an adult. They understand that. The Illuminati itself does not want to get into legal trouble with minors.
I like the part where you have to be hand-selected by a member of the Brotherhood, but they don't know who the fuck you are.
Yeah, and they sent this to my email, but they need my email address. Wait a minute. Isn't that already in your book, Illuminati?
So while we're talking about doing some more long-form segments, do you want to reply? Do you want to see how long it takes the Illuminati to ask you for money?
I'm kind of curious what happens if I reply to the Illuminati. I want to... Can we fuck with the Illuminati somehow?
I mean, they sent you a form letter. You can send them... They don't know that you're not legally named Chip Cheesem from the nation of the internet, current full address, 1234 YouTube Street. They don't know.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, let's absolutely reply back to the Illuminati.
Let's see. All right, every once in a while, if there's updates to share from the Illuminati, you will get Illuminati updates.
God, I hope they reply back. I hope there's somebody behind this computer or behind that email that will seriously be trying to do something. The Illuminati.
The Illuminati. So that's February's Chipod Ironicast. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be looking at doing a double month, I think, because next month is March.
Yep.
And so 2 weeks from today, we're going to be recording Marches to try to get back on track, back on schedule, because 3 weeks from today is C2E2. And I know you're planning on coming back into town to hang out with us again.
Yep. I'll be coming in Friday night, and I'll be there all Saturday, but I'll have to leave Sunday morning.
That's cool. And
I'll be able to attend Sunday because I'm getting IKEA furniture, because the closest IKEA is near Chicago.
Nice. And so we haven't figured it out, but I think we'll be doing our annual post-show recap, either with you and I, or with my wife and I alone again, like last year, but whatever. There will be a bonus episode about the show. So you'll be getting a twofer in March.
I'm glad that I'm coming because I missed last year.
Yeah. And hey, maybe you'll get to meet John Cusack.
Oh.
Or several Power Rangers.
Can I meet Lemon Drop again?
Probably.
All right.
Lemon Drop was there last year.
Yes, good. I want to see Lemon Drop again.
Okay. So I'll be seeing you in person then, and you, the listener, every time you check out Chipod Ironicast. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Give us a rating and review there. In fact, subscribe to us on any podcatcher program of your choice. And while you're at it, just tell a friend how much you enjoyed us talking about X-Files from opposite directions, or how excited you are for our further Illuminati journalism.
I hope the Illuminati is like my new pen pal. What's the Illuminati been up to? How you been doing? It's been a while since we talked. Do
you think the Lumineers are Illuminati? Do you think they're being really cute with the name?
Maybe.
Hey, ho, triangle power. It's all connected. Mm-hmm. And with that...
Oh my god, I just looked at one more result from the Let's Play search I did in 2008, and it was Cyber Shell, Sonic 3, and Knuckles Let's Play.
Oh my god.
October 26, 2008, Angel Island Zone Part 1.
Those were the days.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Got to do a rating for every single enemy, because that's completionism.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, last shot of nostalgia, I think it's time to say good night, folks.
Good night.